Here's a tool the forecasters use that I was brought to my attention by National Weather Service. They were talking about it the other day. Really a great tool here. Shows all the different models and the different depictions of what they think the snowfall will be. And the average is this dark line here. And this is for just north of Warner Robins, right? Um, and this is total snowfall. All right, so between 12Z and 18Z today, right? You see how the totals ramp up, and you go to 3 hour total snow, right? Between 12Z and 00Z is where the highest snowfall totals are, right? Not quite as much resolution there. Go back to total snow. I'm waiting for it to kind of pull up here. So, you know, this is a 009 run. Let's see if we have the 15Z run. We don't. Here's the 9Z, 3Z. This model was kind of overdone here. I think that one model was kind of out to lunch, but you see the overall average here between a trace and an eighth of an inch. But if this comes in a burst that when people are driving, we could potentially have some problems. However, for our area, hopefully this won't be too impactful. Um, Now I wanted to go further to the east here, say Augusta or Athens. Let's do Athens. And see the table here? The mean is a lot higher, like between up to 2 inches here. We know why the predictions are for higher totals up here, right? You move over to Columbia area. Let's bring this up if it'll let me. Yeah. So the mean 4 inches, the high 7, low less than 2. So you see what I'm talking about here. Pretty neat tool to have in the forecaster's toolkit, and I thought I'd share this with y'all. This is the update for noontime. I promised here. Just got back from practicing some workouts here, and burn boot camp, which I do every day. So I think, based on, let's get into deep into the meteorology here, forgive me. So this is 850 millibars winds, right? So you can see maybe why the initial push of the banding features going on here with the low pressure um, pivoting around there, right? Okay. And so we compare that to the reflectivity really quick. Precip type. You see what I mean here? Why that band is there, okay? And I hate this slider here, but it's aggravating. But so switching back to and this is the HRRR, okay? You see the increased 800 winds at 850 millibars here, right? So you move this through time, you see that kind of pivots away from an offshore. You see what happens later today in middle Georgia and other areas. You have some pretty intense lift here, okay? From Atlanta up to Dahlonega and points to the west here, especially in central Georgia here. Some really intense 850 millibar winds here. See where the highest values are here in South Carolina as well. And I think that's what's tied, with my knowledge, based on what I know, what's tied to the banding features that'll pivot through. okay? And that's most likely why the band is going to fill in. The moisture field is going to fill in here in Atlanta and point south, right? You have some pretty intense lift going on here. Move it back to 850 millibars, right? Along and just to the east of this is where we got our, the edge of the precipitation shield. So kind of an interesting setup here. If you look at the temperature, 850 millibars, how cold it is, right? And you got 1,000 millibar wind here as well. It's right near the surface, okay? So going back to that, I hate this interface. I know I keep saying that, but and that moves out tonight, right? And you get some more intense banding here to the east, right? You switch it over to the precipitation type. That's kind of, it's moved, the highest values have moved out by this point. So let's move this through time, okay? Enough talking. I want to show you here. The band pivots around snow. Looks like it's going to overspread the area. Middle Georgia. Initially, we got this band pushing through, and then it kind of pivots around. You see that? And you see the most intense banding this afternoon. 6, 7, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock Eastern time, and moves out. Right, we zoom out a little bit. You can see where we got this set up here. So the winds are going to be pretty blustery behind this system here. So let's go through the precipitation type and onset here again. And then I'll go over some graphics here. So my friends here in Middle Georgia, it's today. Today's about noon, right? So a pretty good representation of what's going on. And we may see some clouds just to our north and east here. And we may have some snow showers or flurries move through here. You see there's a pretty pronounced band further to the some backside snowfall here. All right. Maybe snow even into parts of Florida as well. Okay, so and that dry slot fills in that was in the Raleigh area this morning, unfortunately for them. You see the dry slot there? Finally fills in as the low develops offshore. So energy is transferring. All right, but you see the highest precip rates are east of, generally to Athens, the Statesboro to Savannah area, and points eastward, with a pretty sharp delineation of to the west here. So that's that. So let's go over the latest snowfall totals from National Weather Service real quick. So this was issued at 11:16 a.m. This is valid 7 a.m. today through 7 a.m. Tuesday. For the along I-16 up on I-75 up toward through Atlanta, depending where you're at, you may have up traced to a half an inch in Macon down to Warner Robins area, central Georgia, maybe south of there, just snow flurries. And points to the west, you may get 0 inches to a trace. And points to the east, this is where the highest amounts likely to be. Of course, you get further to the east here in South Carolina. That's where you got the jackpot areas, right? So, and here's the local key messages here. So this is the 3-day snowfall accumulation. This is basically from another graphic from the National Weather Service, generally showing the same thing here. You see where the bands are setting up or have been, right? So the highest totals will be in the or have already been or are in this area. So as this system pivots to the south, we got snowfall ongoing here. We go back to the radar. You know, we know what's going on here, right? Kind of a lonely action, but Atlanta's starting to get in on it, right? Starting to fill in. So I think this will continue as this initial push pushes away from our area in Middle Georgia, and it'll eventually fill in. And finally, this afternoon, you know, between now and like 8 p.m., we'll see some snow in Middle Georgia, and points further east will have the heaviest snow.